Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Math with Mr. W. And look what we've got on the board today. We've got a review, a conglomeration, a totality of what we've been doing over these last 7 years. We're going to talk a little bit today about just number sense. Where are our children? What are they taking out of 7th grade into 8th? What should they already know? And if they don't, what should they be working on to get there? And I'm just going to use the first 100 integers. Now, I already know that the negative integers are also part of what they do. And they should add, subtract, multiply, and divide negatives and positives as well. So it's just should be able to do it just as easily and know the rules that go along with them. But here we're just going to talk about what I really believe they need to take with them out of your 7th grade class and have with them on to 8th grade. Now, they've been building a lot of this stuff up, but let's take a close look. And you notice I talk about n. N just stands for a positive integer. And we're going to start with 1, and we're going to stop here at 10. Now, this is not going to stop at 10. I want your children to go all the way to 100. Now, all the way to 100. Now, you're going to first step up n squared, 100 squared. They go, that's 10,000. Yeah, that's 10,000. But I'm not asking them to memorize their squares up to 100. I'm just going to ask them to do from 1 to 25. So they know this is 4, 9, 16, 25, 36, 49, and 64, 81, and 100. But they also know that 23 squared is 529. They know that 24 squared is 576. And 25 squared is 625. And those are really, really important. These are numbers that are part of what they will be doing in the future. Numbers that they'll pop up and go, oh, yeah, I already know that. That number's a perfect square. So they can recognize those. 289, oh, that's the square of 17. They recognize them. So they know they're perfect squares up to 25. Now, the perfect cubes, again, no, we're not going to carry those out to 100. Not necessary. I'm just looking at your first 10 here. So just 1 through 10. But again, this is 1 through 10. So 2 cubed is going to be 8, of course. 3 cubed is 27. 4 cubed is 64. And 5 cubed is 125. And again, 6 cubed is 216. 7 cubed, 343. 8 cubed, 64 times 8. 8 4 is 32. 8 6 is a 48. 8 3 is 512. So these numbers can be recognized. 81 was 729. And last but not least, 10 cubed or 1,000. So now these guys are down to here. We don't need the cubes all the way out to 100. They want to know what 11 cubed is? Remember Pascal's triangle? They'll see it. 1, 3, 3, 1. It's 1,331. So it's there, okay? So they know that, okay? It's right there in Pascal's triangle. Now, square roots. Now, here's something incredibly valuable, the simplification of a square root. And this has to go from 1 to 100. We can't just look at the first couple numbers. We have to know how to simplify the square root of 48, the square root of 64. The square root of 64 is easy, that's 8. But the square root of 60, what is the square root of 60? Okay? We have to know how to do that. That's 12 times 5. Well, that's 4 times 3 times 5. 4 times 15. Well, if it's 4 times 15, the 4 comes out, becomes 2. It's 2 root 15. So we have to know the square root of 60 is 2 root 15. We have to know how to simplify square roots, and we know how to do them from 1 to 100. So even when we're doing number 8 here, which is going to be 2 root 2, because 8 is 4 times 2, and the square root of 4 becomes a 2, and we've got 2 root 2. There's not much simplification in the first 10 numbers, because 9, of course, is a perfect square. That's 3. 4 is a perfect square. That's 2. 1, we know. But the square root of 2, square root of 3, square root of 5, square root of 6, square root of 7, and square root of 10, they are just what they are. Irrational numbers that can't be changed. But it gives the students a start. And from there, they start simplifying the square root of 12, 2 root 3, 4 times 3. And we've done this. There is a video that talks about this. Okay? So these are things that you and all the teachers beforehand have talked to your students about. Now, factoring. Factoring. When they walk into algebra, factoring is incredibly important. Incredibly important. They need to know how to factor. And that's why I play that game. I'm looking for 2 numbers. I'm looking for 2 numbers. I have a video that talks about that. I'm looking for 2 numbers that multiply together to make 36. And they add up to 13. What are they? Well, 9 times 4 is 36. 9 plus 4 is 13. That's the number they're looking for. But their students know that because they can factor. Because they can factor. So there's 2 things to look for. Let's take the number 6 down here. We have just 2 times 3. Okay? The number 8 we're going to find is 2 times 2 times 2. But that equals 2 to the 3rd power. So not only do they have to have it factored with all the factors, but they should know how to use exponents when possible. Now remember, 36 we said was 4 times 9? Well, if we were right here and we had the number 36 was somewhere in here, so let's put the number 36 in here, and we're over here, that 36 is going to be 2 times 2 times 3 times 3. 4 times 9. But that equals 2 squared times 3 squared. And that becomes important because remember, we're talking about lowest common denominator, just the common denominator. So all of this helps them in understanding number sense. And the way to do this is to make sure they've done all of these, not just some of these. And they have this as part of the tools that they take forward into 8th grade. So as a 7th grade teacher, you're not just the guy or the gal who's teaching them some stuff for 7th grade, but you're kind of collecting some materials that need to be moved forward. In graphing, we talk about the X and the Y axis, but you're going to be talking about functions. And you're the person that's going to get them the idea of how to work with functions. And you're also, you're going to be doing some geometry, related to the compass, measuring angles. You're going to be doing a lot of stuff that will carry into their future. So this stuff has to be with them. It gives them their number sense. And you know, like I always knew, the kids who didn't have that, the kids who just didn't have a sense of what a number was and where it belonged. They didn't have that feeling of how things went. And sometimes you don't know quite how to patch that together. You have to spend some time with those kids. But I know you guys will do a great job because that's why you're teachers. And you're fantastic. You're the warriors of education. And in middle school, I know how kids are distracted, but still, you bring them forward because you're just wonderful at what you do. And I'm proud of what you do because I was able to get ninth graders that were able to do the things that I wanted them to do. Now, occasionally I had some kids that were kind of lost when it came to math. But you and I both know that those same kids are kind of lost when you had them too. And you tried your best to bring them forward. And maybe you didn't quite get there. And I tried my best too. The bottom line was, these tools that I want to give you here, and your students have, will help them move toward 8th grade. And you guys, you have equations now in 7th grade and inequalities in 7th grade. And some of your students are not there yet. They're still thinking about what's a percent? Or how do I multiply 45 times 27? Or how, they're just not there. Everybody doesn't grow the same speed. So wherever the level is, I know you're going to have to take them from where they are to where they can be. So make sure they have these tools going forward. And make sure that they know that they're great kids. I know you do. I've done now almost 200 videos dealing with kindergarten math, dealing from kindergarten through here. And I'm proud to have done this. I really believe that our kids can do even better than what they've done in the past. I know they're capable of being the best. So, you warriors of education, you continue to do the best you can, because I know you are the best. And you guys have a great day. You have a great year. And under the circumstances that we deal with today, with the pandemic, dealing from distance, I know that you will still be the great teachers that you are, and you will still bring to those students the best education that they can have. I'll see you next time on Math with Mr. W.